Um, Pursuant to the requirements of the Illinois Open Meetings Act, because Governor Pritzker's declaration remains in effect, finding that all counties of the state of Illinois are a disaster area due to health concerns relating to COVID-19, it has been determined that in-person meeting is not practical or prudent. Accordingly, the meeting of the Southland Board of Directors this evening will be conducted with board members attending the meeting in audio or video conferencing rather than being present in person. Our Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Blondine Y. Davis, is physically present at our regular meeting place at 4601 Salt Trail, Richmond Park, Illinois. So I will call to order this meeting of the Board of Directors of Southland College Prep Charter School and ask that the secretary please call the roll.
Mr. Bean,
Present.
Dr. Radner,
Present.
Mr. Murphy,
Present.
Dr. Davis,
Present.
Dr. Hall,
Here.
Dr. Meyer,
Here.
Mr. Simpkins.
Okay, Mr. Simpkins has not joined us yet. The next item on the agenda is a matter called audience to visitors. It's an opportunity for members of the audience to ask questions or of any item on or off the agenda. Is there any member of the audience who would care to ask a question, or has any member submitted a question to Dr. Davis?
No, sir.
No questions. The next item on the agenda is approval of the scheduled meetings of Southland's Board of Directors for the year 2021, 2022. May I have a motion to approve the schedule of meetings, please?
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Radner, second by Dr. Hall. Is there any discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bean,
Aye.
Dr. Radner,
Aye.
Mr. Murphy,
Aye.
Dr. Davis,
Aye.
Dr. Hall,
Aye.
Dr. Meyer.
Aye.
The matter has been approved. The next item on the agenda is the approval of amended Southland school calendar for the year 2020 and 2021. May I have a motion to approve the amended calendar for the year 2020, 2021, please?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Murphy, seconded by
Barb Meyer.
Dr. Meyer. Any discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bean,
Aye.
Dr. Radner,
Aye.
Mr. Murphy,
Aye.
Dr. Davis,
Aye.
Dr. Hall,
Aye.
Dr. Meyer.
Aye.
The motion has been adopted. The next item on the agenda is approval of the 2021, 2022 consolidated. No, I'm getting away from myself. And the next item on the agenda is approval of the revision to policy 4.03 regarding English learners. May I have a motion to approve the policy regarding English learners, please?
I move approval of the policy.
A move by Dr. Hall, seconded by Dr. Meyer. Any discussion on the motion?
Two clarifications, President Bean. First of all, the new language is English language learners as compared to in the past. And so you see that our policy reflects that. The only other change is that we will work with the parents and where necessary, provide translation services, et cetera, which we've always done. We do not have any non-English speaking children here in the building, but we do employ 4 full-time Spanish teachers if we would need it. We have a counselor that is bilingual, and we have a teacher that speaks fluent French here in the building. And so if there was a need, then we're prepared.
Good. Okay. Dr. Hall.
So my understanding is we have moved from English language learners to just English learners.
Yes.
Okay,
The
just-
why of it, I don't know, but that is the new language. But the reason behind it, I have not researched that, but in terms of translation services, that's something that we do all the time. And so to me, that's the action item in this and communicating with parents. But it still remains that we do not now have, nor have we ever had a non-English speaking child in the building. However, we are prepared for any eventuality.
so we just merely dropped the word language. So it's just
Yes,
English
ma'am.
learners. Okay,
Thank you. Did we have a roll call on that yet?
No.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Bean,
Aye.
Dr. Radner,
Aye.
Mr. Murphy,
Aye.
Dr. Davis,
Aye.
Dr. Hall,
I,
Dr. Meyer.
Aye.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is approval of the 2021-2022 Consolidated District Plan for Southland. May I have a motion, please, to approve the Consolidated District Plan for 2021-2022?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Murphy.
second
Seconded
by
by
Vinnie.
Dr. Hall. Is there any discussion of the motion?
I have 2 items.
Yes,
Go
ma'am.
ahead, Dr. Davis.
No, go ahead, please.
Dr. Radner, go ahead.
I just had 2 curiosities. One, I just finished looking over a young woman who wrote a sterling paper on professional development for veteran teachers. You know, sometimes somebody who's been there for just a short time. So sometimes we just celebrate the novice teachers and not the veteran teachers. So I was just put that on in the garage or on the waiting list. Just, are we doing something unique or special for veteran teachers who've probably been that, heard that, done that? And second, I was curious as to how we are managing foster students. Are our teachers aware that the student is a foster child? I don't know how that goes. I just don't.
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand the last word. Are they managing?
Students in foster care.
Oh,
I
yes,
mean,
ma'am.
are we, is that something that we necessarily tell a teacher that a student is in foster care? Or do we use the FERPA amendment and, keep it private?
First, let me address the question about staff development. We are immersing ourselves in this for the next 6 to 8 weeks in staff development. What we believe is that since we've been on remote, with the exception of the hybrid, but on a combination of remote and hybrid since March of 2020, that our teachers need to be able to refocus on lesson planning, be able to refocus on climate and culture. But one of our primary issues is what is the learning loss for the children? How do we assess that, et cetera? So we're very much involved in staff development, not only for our new teachers, but for those who were excellent in-person teachers for the last year and a half have been teaching using remote technology, and now we're welcoming the children back. So we really feel that the administrators, and we did start today. I don't know if Dr. Radner wants to make a comment. She was kind enough to come out and to help us with the administrators. We need also who are these children that are coming back to us and what are their needs? So we started there, but we're going to be doing a 4-week plan. But in addition to that, we're doing an immersion. And here at Southland, we will have an instructional coach here whose job is to visit classes and help, not necessarily evaluate, but help. But we know that teachers as well as students, I won't say remediation because I think we have excellent teachers, but perhaps a redirection. And so I will ask Dr. Radner if she would comment, please.
Yes. Well, actually, what's involved will be renewal. And I see this pandemic, unfortunately, as an opportunity for teachers to rethink teaching, and that would include veteran as well as novice teachers, but very seriously, some teachers will really benefit a lot from having a fresh look at their role and the importance of some things that the pandemic has kind of like reduced in terms of their ability to reach the kids. So I think it'll be a great opportunity, and the district is really, the administrative team is really well prepared to follow up on this so it doesn't turn out to be a kind of, one of those summer workshops that doesn't go anywhere. But it's, what I was representing today was job embedded professional development. So you think about it, you make a plan, you act on it, and then you think about it again, and you determine what you need to do to become an even better teacher.
So I don't
Thank you.
know, Member Hall, if that addresses the issue. With foster
Absolutely.
children, we think that's confidential information and it's on a need to know basis. Counselors are aware, but it's not information that we share unless there's an issue. In other words, if DCFS approaches us, that's a different thing, but that's rare. And we
Okay.
think that all children should have the feeling that they stand as equals and not feel that there's any kind of stigma. So we do not share that information.
Thank you.
President Bean, this particular report is passed every year, but normally, because 162 operates in a different manner, it would go to on the consent agenda because it's an annual report that we file every year.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Did that answer your did that answer your question, Dr. Hall?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, roll call, please.
Mr. Bean,
Aye.
Dr. Radner,
Aye.
Mr. Murphy. Mr.
Aye.
Murphy,
Aye.
Dr. Davis,
Aye.
Dr. Hall. Dr. Hall,
Oh, aye. Didn't have the mic on. Sorry.
Dr. Meyer,
Aye.
Okay, the matter has been adopted.
President Bean, if I could, for the minutes and simply because we honor all elected officials, I'd like to welcome Senator Hastings to the Southland Board meeting and acknowledge his presence. Welcome, Senator.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. The next item is renewal of the membership in the Illinois High School Association for the 2021-2022 school year, and to adopt and abide by the Constitution, bylaws, terms, conditions, and administrative procedures, guidelines, and policies of the Illinois High School Association for 2021-2022 school term as required for such membership. This membership results from our students participating in sports activities and other intercollegiate activities among schools throughout the state, and membership in the association is required. May I have a motion, please, to approve the renewal of the membership?
So moved, Barb Meyer.
Moved, Dr. Meyer, seconded
Barbara Radner.
Dr.
Second.
Radner. Thank you. Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Just a point of information, Mr. President, we're adding one sport. We will now house girls' basketball effective immediately upon the passage of this motion.
And that's good. Yeah, that's good. I had wondered when we would get the girls basketball, and that equals out the array of sports that are available to both boys and girls. Good. Is there any further discussion of the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bean,
Aye.
Dr. Radner,
Aye.
Mr. Murphy,
Aye.
Dr. Davis,
Aye.
Dr. Hall,
Aye.
Dr. Meyer.
Aye.
Matter has been approved. The next item on the agenda is approval of the expenditure of $89,513.10 for Chromebooks. May I have a motion, please, to approve the purchase of Chromebooks?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Dr. Hall, seconded by Dr. Murphy, promoted you, Kevin, to doctor, to Murphy.
Okay.
No, it would just be Reverend or just Kevin. I'm fine with either one.
Okay. Is there any discussion on the motion?
President Beam, this school has always been for the past 7 years a one-to-one device school. All of our students have always had iPads. We are now making the change. And so beginning in the new school year, all of the students here will have Chromebooks, which is the newest technology.
Good. Okay, is there any further discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bean,
Aye.
Dr. Radner,
Aye.
Mr. Murphy,
Aye.
Dr. Davis,
Aye.
Dr. Hall,
Aye.
Dr. Meyer.
Aye.
Okay, the matter has been adopted. The next item on the agenda is approval of the renewal of the student transportation contract with Kicker School Bus for the 2021-2022 school year. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Seconded, Barbara Radner.
It's moved by Mr. Murphy, seconded by Dr. Radner. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Mr. President, I'd like to ask our CFO, Mr. Englert, if he would give us an update on where we are with transportation, please.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Good evening, board.
Good evening, Craig. Yes.
Evening.
So in your packet tonight is a renewal with Kicker School Bus. Kicker has been the bus carrier for Southland since its inception. So this renewal is for a 2.5% increase, which I believe is very reasonable. They're looking at significant increases both in the price of fuel as well as personnel costs. They have informed us that they're having difficulties getting drivers at this time. We hope that by the fall that turns around a little bit, but they are having to increase wages significantly in order to hire and attract and retain drivers. So that's something we're meeting with them regularly about. In fact, I have a meeting set up with them in a couple of weeks to go over where we are with that situation, because they did inform us that they are concerned about the lack of drivers currently. So again, we're looking at what contingency plans we may have, but we're hoping that that market, turns around for the drivers by the fall.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Englert?
Mr. President, Senator Hastings might have an idea of what's going on with transportation. As I pass by Lincoln Way and as I pass Senator by Orland, there, Phillips, there's signs indicating that they're hiring and the bus shortages. So I don't know if this is something that's been brought to your attention. If so, you're welcome to share. It is.
Yes, it's across the board in terms of hiring drivers.
Oh, come right up.
Mr. Bean, distinguished members of the board, it's always good to see
Senator.
everybody virtually. I'll just say that in terms of transportation as a whole, what we're seeing throughout the Southland, it goes all the way from Joliet and Lockport all the way east to our district. Just hiring of simple waiters and waitresses is a problem right now. Folks they're living on governance, subsistence, and it's pretty difficult, but we just need people to get back into the economy and start working again. I know that the transportation issue in Lincoln Way, which is right across from our office, they're looking at hiring folks, but it's a difficult time right now to get people on board. So the best way to do it is word of mouth. I think in the neighborhood is probably the best way to do it. And advertise on your social media and everything else you guys do. But it's going to be a little bit before we get back to people getting back to work. Once some of the assistance wears off, I think we'll start seeing more of that.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you,
I
Senator.
hope that's the case, Mr. President.
Thank you. Okay, if there are no further questions, roll call, please.
Mr. Bean,
Aye.
Dr. Radner,
Aye.
Mr. Murphy,
Aye.
Dr. Davis,
Aye.
Dr. Hall,
Aye.
Dr. Meyer.
The matter has been approved. The next item is a series of personnel matters, beginning with item 8A and concluding with item
Triple E.
I'll get there in a minute. Down through quadruple C. These are all items where we are hiring or retaining teachers. And then item, the last item, which is triple E, is a non-retention of a employee or teacher that has been notified. May I have a motion, please, to approve items 8A through 8 quadruple E?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the aforesaid items be adopted. Is there any discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bean,
Aye.
Dr. Radner,
Aye.
Mr. Murphy,
Aye.
Dr. Davis,
Aye.
Dr. Hall,
Aye.
Dr. Meyer.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is approval of minutes of the prior Board of Directors meeting. The March 15, 2021 meeting. Those minutes have been circulated. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, may I have a motion to adopt the minutes of the prior board meeting?
So moved.
Moved Dr. Meyer, seconded by Mr. Murphy. On the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, the minutes have been adopted. The next item on the agenda is a report of the Chief Executive Officer. Dr.
Thank
Baker.
you. Thank you, Mr. President. Actually, there's an unusual occurrence, but I want to acknowledge the presence of 3 alumni. Jaimin Smith, who graduated on, correct me, Saturday from Central State. Okay. We have Malik Fountain, who is here, who I think is going to go on campus next year to Columbia, correct? And our own Amani Fountain, who graduated class of, has it been 2016 already? 21? Oh my God, 2014. So that's a wonderful thing. So we welcome you, and the other young people who are here will be introduced in another capacity. But I thought that's a wonderful thing because everyone comes back home. Everyone comes home. As we go and look forward at the attendance, please, Mr. Lights. Southland's attendance has maintained for the entire school year. We're 97.24% for 160 days. You're well aware that we're getting ready to close, but I compliment really our students and our families because they make sure that each and every day, either students are in on the hybrid or they're signing in to make sure that the information that is being imparted by the teachers is available to them. I also want to comment on the fact that you're very much aware because you saw our spring festival, you viewed Black history, et cetera, that in addition to the students that are here on the hybrid, in the afternoon, huge numbers of students are coming in, participating in track, participating in dance, choir, band, chorus, et cetera. And so we're a slightly different school. I can't say that I totally understand the philosophy because actually we have the same germs. If this is about germs on the hybrid, the same germs before 3 o'clock as after 3. So I will just say that. But at the academic portion of the day, we're 97.24%, and that's excellent. Our enrollment is holding, we're 574. Interestingly, if you look at this, the ninth grade, that's where the majority of the students are before 3 o'clock. And so you see 43% of them are in. Actually, that's a positive thing because we really did not know those students. Remember, the governor closed, I believe, on March 19th of last year. Many of them we did not see until we came back on the hybrid program. So I'm happy that many of them are coming in. And the others are pretty much consistent, 25%, except as I told you, the school is full of young people after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But at least we see them. I delight in seeing the expression in their eyes because you can't see the faces. And it's a positive thing. Moving on, we're in the midst of graduation, and what we're doing, as you're well aware, is 12 graduations because we're still socially distanced over 4 days, 3 graduations a day. We start tomorrow. Each graduation has 12 students. Each student is entitled to bring 4 family members. But our actual graduation day is Saturday, May 29th at 4 p.m., where the entire tape will be played and the class will march as a whole. To remind you of last year, we actually did a graduation 1 student at a time. I thought that was a very personal and individual way to address this, but I do know that they need the ability to socialize. They like to be together. And so we can safely do a graduation. And you might ask, because a parent did today, what is a mini commencement? Well, a mini commencement to us at Southland is exactly the same thing that we would do at the Harris Theater. It's a mini because it generally takes us from 37 minutes to 42 minutes to march in. Now, 12 students will come in 3 minutes. Okay, we save that time. It takes us 40 minutes on an average to call the diplomas. Now it will take us 3 minutes to call 12 names, and then we recess. So when you subtract all of that, then we still have the speeches from the valedictorian, from other members of the class, the music, everything else is the same, except when we looked at it, most of the time is spent on the structure of the graduation, which involves processionals, the calling and awarding of the names, and the recessional. So we're not doing that, but everything else will be done. And we're looking forward tomorrow to the president of the board speaking, and he will then be taped, and his will be the only taped speech. We feel that students and everyone else probably in this room are tired of Zoom. And we also feel that a graduation is a very personal experience. And so we will be addressing our students safely, but in person rather than in that way. But of course, President Bean could not address 12 graduations. That's a lot. However, just so you can put this in perspective, our 162 graduations, we have 22 mini graduations at this point. So it all depends on the way that you think of this, but I'm looking forward to that tomorrow, and we will share the tape with you. But something else that's exciting, at the same time that we're doing the graduations, Dr. Watson and his team will be in the Commons on Thursday and Friday, beginning at 10 o'clock, and he will be doing vaccinations. This particular building, we're actually 91.5% vaccinated, but he is going to meet with that small group of people and see if he can convince them. But the real reason that he's coming, we can now offer vaccinations to the age group down to 12. And so we feel that they would be more comfortable in this building because it's a school, it's known to them. And so we're opening our doors, the other side of the building, to all parents, all community members, all children 12 years of age and above with their parents, but also to our seniors. Remember, most of our seniors are going to stay in a dorm. The wisdom is you need to be vaccinated if you're going to stay in a dorm. It's not the same as being at home. So we'll see. Well, we'll be busy this week. So on the south end of the building will be the graduations and all the festivities. Perhaps it'll be just as festive in taking vaccinations. I don't know. But we'll be doing that on Thursday and Friday. But I do want to compliment the teachers for us to be over 90% in compliance with vaccinations. I don't know, but President Biden, I think, would be thrilled if 90% of this nation were vaccinated. I think he'd be absolutely thrilled. Our goal, however, is 100%. So that's what we're going to stand on, and that's what we're doing. So that's where we are in terms of process. I do want to introduce Mr. Robert Lane, who's going to bring two students to us, Naya Ware and Breon Watts. And I believe that Senator Hastings has a presentation he would like to make. So Mr. Lane, how are you?
Fine, Doc. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, members of the board. Great to see everyone. Dr. Davis asked me to bring two of our students forward, and couldn't be more honored. One thing we've learned this year, we should definitely give people their flowers while they're here. So I love the opportunity to welcome two of our newest graduates, soon to be. And I'm gonna introduce them one at a time. We'll start with the gentleman. We'll start with Mr. Breon Watts. Breon is someone that I've become a team member of at least 2 years ago. I'll never forget the night that I invited my wife and children to one of our fine arts events. For Black History Month this year, we turned various spaces around the school into pop-up stages, and students presented visual and oral reflections on Black history. Now, my daughter was 8 at the time, and my son was in 8th grade. Tagging along to their father's school function has never been a highlight for them. But this year, I took them on a room to see what our nationally recognized forensics team was up to. And they were putting on a performance in the round, a mini production of Serafina, the story of the Soweto youth uprising against apartheid in 1976. When those 6 young people took the stage, we were all literally transformed from a classroom to Broadway. I was amazed at their ability to learn South African dialect and to perform with such authority and passion. Above all, I was floored by this 6-foot guy who literally brought the house down with a breathtaking performance. And with tears in our eyes, my wife and I couldn't believe how they nailed the hypocrisy and cruelty of apartheid so well. And I was even more amazed because I never even knew Breon could act. He was known around school as the first person to ever bring accolades to our school for athletics. At the time, we didn't even have a gym. We do now. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Davis. But somehow, Breon had become a national champion in hurdles. How that happened, I will never know, I guess after school. But on the drive home, both of my children grilled me incessantly about the history of South Africa. And the next day I returned to work, it was the talk of school. Everyone had heard about the presentation and wanted to learn more. And I happened to see Breon in the hallway. Probably doesn't remember it, but I pulled him aside and I said, Mr. Watts, you should be proud. You made an 8-year-old little girl want to learn more about her heritage in one night than I have ever been able to. A bit embarrassed, probably not used to receiving accolades on his way to English, he thanked me and kind of bounded away. So Breon is simply one of the most talented young people I've ever met in my 20 years of education. And I'm proud to say I've met a lot. He has achieved in literally every path he's attempted. But to be clear, although he makes it look easy, it does not come effortlessly. In talking to his speech coaches, Breon puts in the work. He raises the bar for everyone around him, but he does it in a manner that belies team. His teachers say the same thing. When asked about what he's most proud of, I'll never forget, he said, I'm proud that my mother is proud of me. And I'm proud that I've worked hard enough so she won't have to take care of me. I'm going to take care of her. During his time at Southland, he has distinguished himself inside and outside the classroom while making time to be literally involved in everything and be an upstanding big brother to 2 little sisters. He managed a way to earn a 4.52 on a 4.0 GPA near the top of his class. To have that degree of success is more than a testament to his intellect, but a clear indicator that he can handle balancing getting the job done while maintaining hot pursuit of his interests and talents. Breon is the president of National Honor Society, a 4-year speech team member, an active member of Interact, our school chapter of Rotary International. He was co-captain of the track and field team, and he held the 2019 USA Track and Field 400 meter national champion distinction. In speech, he captured the 2021 IHSA Dramatic Interpretation Championship after placing 5th place in dramatic duet acting last year. He was also a member of that performance in the Roundcast that I enjoy so much, and they went on to be state champions in 2019. Additionally, he was the 5th place finalist in the 2020 National Speech and Debate Association National Tournament. And he will be representing Southland again this year at Nationals. Somehow, he managed to log in over 100 hours of community service. As a culmination of his hard work, he was named the winner of the National Quest Bridge Scholarship Match Competition, where schools seek the nation's finest students. He was matched with Duke University, ranked as the number 12 college in the nation by U.S. News and World Report, where he will study psychology and theater. His track skills have already been featured on the Duke Athletics Instagram page, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention that through QuestBridge, he received a 100% full ride scholarship, which provides all tuition, room, board, and expenses, valued at over $280,000. Please join me in a round of applause for Breon Watts.
Can I just say a few results, which are kind of, you don't mind, I just, first of all, I feel like an underachiever, standing next to Breon, but, you know, as a school board member of the 5th largest high school district for 4 years, probably one of the greatest moments that I have is to recognize people that go above and beyond the standard. And for you, it's probably just something you want to do all the time. But first of all, a national champion hurdler is that's a tough endeavor as it is, but to win a state championship in dramatic interpretation, everything you've done is just is a standard of excellence. And I want to say thanks to Mom. Where is Mom right there? Mom, you deserve a lot of credit. Is Mom not here? Good for your mom. She's working too hard. I don't know who that nice lady is, but the fact that she was sitting next to you, I mean, she should be thankful. But I want to say congratulations to you. I wish you would have chose West Point over Duke because we can use a good hurdler, but that's just my, but I want to say congratulations on behalf of the state of Illinois. We want to recognize you from the Illinois Senate. We're going to make mention of you on the Senate floor this week. I just wanted to make sure you knew that. And I look forward to all the great things that you have to offer to come. So congratulations again. Man. Appreciate it. Let's do this. Congratulations.
Thank you,
God bless you.
Senator.
Time for one more.
Yes, sir.
All right. Congratulations, Bria. Okay. We'll end with Miss Ware. I've been in education for 20 years, though I don't look that old. Thank you. Fortunately, over these 20 years of education, I've met exceptionally talented young people, and I've met children who have more grit, tenacity, and fortitude that would shame any grown man or woman. I've been an unwilling participant of 2020, like everyone else, but I'm looking forward to being an old man who will talk nostalgically about the global pandemic one day as a survivor. COVID-19 will be a centerpiece, but there are a few other things I'll remember that were just as powerful and memorable. One of them will be Naya Ware. At this moment, we've watched nations and economies brought to their knees, leaders stymied in their tracks, people revealing their worst sides. I've witnessed a great deal of tragedy, loss, and a sobering glimpse of modern humanity. And I'm one of the biggest optimists I know. Among all the mess, there have been very few constants. Outside of dogs and puppies, I have to give the trophy to Naya. She has been undaunted and impressed me in ways I didn't think possible. Taking one look at her profile, there are obviously reasons to be easily impressed. I don't think she's had probably more than 2 Bs in her entire life. She's book smart, she's charismatic, but she's a great friend. She's a listening leader. In every way that I might identify a weakness, she pretty much has addressed it over the last 3 years. When I quietly thought to myself, she didn't take risks enough. She didn't assert herself enough. She would step up as if she was reading my mind. Not only is she the president of Southland's Student Council, she is the first young woman in our history as a student to take an executive board position on the parent-teacher student organization. She's a state champion speech and forensics athlete and part of the first performance team to win the Illinois title 3 years in a row in state history in Illinois. I could go on, but what has impressed me most about Naya is not her grades, it's about her 2020. In this most uncertain time, this is when everyone's weaknesses, shortcomings, and loose ends have all been laid bare. Our vulnerabilities, our insecurities, our relationships with others, and ourselves have been challenged more than ever before. But do you know who's the most constant person that I see in my world? Naya Ware. Naya Ware. As we moved to remote learning, Naya was the one who reached out and asked, how would we continue to support her and her classmates for SAT prep? When everyone was watching each other self-destruct in the summer and ordering bread makers, Naya was the girl arranging her ACT exam in another state. To bide her time this summer, Naya was the one who created, produced, and hosted a remote podcast series for Black girls in quarantine. As parents and students were numb about the uncertainties of the future, Naya was the student submitting community service hours because she had shifted from mentoring students in person to students remotely. When we log in at 7:45 in the morning from home, seeing your family every morning, Naya, the first one there at 7:40, before the students, before the teachers. She's in full uniform. She's got coffee and she's got a smile. When I step back from her perfect grades, strong test scores, and excellent writing and thinking skills, her character, her fortitude, her resiliency are radiantly undeniable. She is an immovable juggernaut. Anyone can smile when the conditions are perfect. My question is always, how do you respond when things are not? 2020 has been a litmus test, and Naya's poise through this time has been remarkable, and it speaks volumes of how she will perform under duress. And now Naya is our valedictorian with a breathtaking 4.88 on a 4.0 grade point average. Her exploits have been captured on several television networks. As a young person who suffered from scoliosis, she found herself becoming fascinated with medical advancement, technology, and engineering, and she set her sights on studying biomedical engineering on a collegiate level. With an ACT super score of 34, she was accepted to 29 colleges. We began to call it the Naya Ware Sweepstakes. She never knew that, but now you know. As she was accepted to Yale, MIT, Columbia, Michigan, Duke, Case Western, Emory, Georgia Tech, Vanderbilt, Illinois, Northwestern, and Tulane, to just name a few. She was stuck with a tough decision. But thanks to an 11th hour flight on Friday, April 15th, she finally made her decision. There are a lot of letdown schools, but in true LeBron James fashion, she decided that she would take her talents to Palo Alto, California. Naya Ware will enroll at Stanford University in the fall with hopes of becoming a pathologist or an organ designer. Let's give a round of applause to Miss Naya Ware.
Again, I really do feel like an underachiever. Thank you for all your ambition, your dreams. If anyone doesn't think our future is not bright with the two young people that just stood here or standing here today, is why I'm so excited what you have to offer. And anything we can do, we're always there for you. We're so proud of you. And so on behalf of the state of Illinois, just want to say thank you and congratulations. Let's take a quick picture right here. I know you're smiling under the mask. Congratulations again. God bless you. To the school board, thanks again. God bless you all. Looking forward to getting back to normal. So we'll see you all soon. Thanks again, Doctor. God bless you guys.
Well, Mr. President, we'll just take. Oh, yes. Certainly. Not vaccinated.
All right.
Let's get our speech coach in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, her.
Please sit.
Thanks
Thank you,
again,
sir.
Doc. It's good to see you. What are you doing?
All right, guys. And of course, you will hear both of them speak at the graduation, but they could not be more deserving, so I'm very happy about it. Actually, at this point, I'd like to introduce someone I consider to be part of the family, and that's Mr. John Fountain. I know that you're aware of this, but just to put this in context, several years ago, Mr. Fountain, I don't know if he came to me with the idea of, it was because he was standing on the corner trying to get men to come out and read. but he started the Real Men Read Project, and it was very small then. But I think he's going to tell us about a man who I think was one of the founding members of Real Men Read. But Real Men Read now is on YouTube. The last time that they recorded, which was a Black History Month, we have 57 men recording. Now there's a chapter at the Madison, at the Arcadia. And I know at one time he said last year before the pandemic, well, I'm just going to have to walk away with this. But I think he feels the synergism. But he's going to tell us not only about this wonderful friend of the children who love to read, but also about some scholarships that we've been able to give. So how are you, Mr. Fountain?
I'm good, Dr. Davis. Thanks so much for inviting me. Good evening, board. And let me just say first, Dr. Davis, we love you. Thank you for the vision and the dream that we stand upon today. And that it truly takes, I'm reminded of reading, that sometimes it's one person who receives the vision, who receives the dream, and it takes a community to bring that to pass. So thank you for being the visionary who carried the dream upon which we stand, that in these times we find to be a bridge over troubled water. And if I were preaching it, I'm kidding. but thank you. Looking for a few good men, I wrote in my Chicago Sun-Times column 6 years ago, honestly hoping that Black men would answer the call to Real Men Read at Matheson, a predominantly Black school, though Mr. Rick, as the school children affectionately called him, would teach me an invaluable lesson. The more important than the color of a man's skin needed for mentoring Black children is the content of a man's heart. Mr. Rick, or Richard Siska, he showed up one bright Thursday morning. He was the first, and for a while, he was the only one. We were ebony and ivory. Plainly dressed and dripping with the enthusiasm of a newly minted grandpa, he said he had stumbled upon my column. He said, I was like, hey, I'm not doing anything. I can do that. And so he did. On many mornings, it was just Mr. Rick and me. Then others joined, some came and went. In times of my discouragement over the absence of other men, Mr. Rick's presence was enough to help me keep the faith. He became a one-man public relations machine, known to pester public officials, to show up at village meetings, recruiting and extolling the virtues of our program. Of course, I wrote again, and we even stood, as Dr. Davis said, with signs on the streets that said, looking for a few good men. News traveled, the news cameras came, so did the men. On some Thursdays, we had as many as 40 men. Then the young men at Southland joined our ranks, and we were up and running smoothly. Then last year, the pandemic happened, school closures and remote learning, and a pause in our reading program. A pause because by fall, thanks to technology, innovation, and the will of a few good men, we were up and running virtually, and thanks to the Hollywood video producing glitz and glam of Dave Baer, our program is available online and in perpetuity to students district-wide, even globally. A dream from a seed when there was once only me and Mr. Rick. Rick used to tell me, smiling with that effervescent gleam in his eyes, Johnny, I don't know how much time the good Lord has left for me here, but I'm going to read until I can't anymore. I just love it. Unfortunately, Mr. Rick, my brother and friend, suffered an injury last summer and was unable to join our virtual meetings. Then this January, he passed away. But his dream lives on. And I can think of no better way to honor his memory and service to community, to our children, than to rename the annual scholarship inaugurated last year in his honor for his tireless dedication and unwavering commitment. With the benevolence of his family, his wife Barb, his daughters Susan and Kate and other family members and other donors, we're able to offer this year to award $1,000 scholarships to 3 well-deserving Southland young men who are participants in the Real Men Reading Program and who we believe embody Mr. Rick's spirit, enthusiasm, and commitment. This year's recipients of the Richard R. Siska Real Men Read Scholarship are Loyal Bridges, class of 2021, Joseph Barr Thomas, and Malik Fountain, both of the class of 2020. In the words of one of this year's recipients, quote, "It was an inspiration to see Mr. Siska every Thursday. He was there. He was excited. No matter how he felt, he said, 'I'm good, I'm ready.' It felt good to see someone who took it serious and was excited every day. In some ways, I want to model that. He was definitely an inspiration. Some say be like Mike. I want to be like Mr. Rick."
Just for a second. But board, we have 2 of our alumni who continued. It's what that says to me. The Real Men Read program benefited from us taking a bus over to the Matheson, and they enjoyed it and they participated. But what we didn't know is that this permeated the heart of some of our young men. And so even if we could not go in person, they continued. So Malik Fountain, would you come up, please? And Joseph Farr Thomas, please. Our third individual will graduate, one day this week. And so he will receive his scholarship in the course of the graduation. But I'm so proud, first of all, of Mr. Fountain. Sometimes a small idea, Mr. Fountain, just permeates the district. And what I have heard from fathers since we've been on remote is, you mean you can't take a couple of hours out of your day to come and read to the children? And so that's exactly what they did. But compliments also go to Mr. Bear. He took this, I thought we were just taping something, and when I saw this, it's magnificent. So other school districts now are incorporating this in their remote program. And as I said, it's on YouTube. It has a life of its own. But Mr. Siska and Mr. Fountain, I think, made a magnificent team. So I thank both of you. And they never walked away from us, even when we were on remote. As a matter of fact, the program grew.
Yes.
So perhaps that was the way it was supposed to be. So thank you. Yes, we go. And Mr. President, board members, just one last statement. We are totally aware of what the CDC has said in terms of unmasking. We also are a school where the adults, so if there's anything called herd immunity, and we don't know that, we just know what they say on television, then certainly 90% is herd immunity. That doesn't have anything to do with it. We have children in this building. And so we will stay masked. I ask for your support. Our concept is that while educating the children, we have to keep everyone safe. And we will reevaluate this because there's a team under the supervision of Craig Englert that meets every Tuesday morning. We look at everything that is happening to us. But at this point, the safest thing for us to do as we go through graduations and as we go into summer school and reopen is to stay masked. And we acknowledge all of the counsel and all of the opinions, but for us in this community and for the comfort of everyone, but also we do not believe that the percentage in this state of vaccinations is sufficient. And as of today, that's 36%. And so if there are complaints, we'll refer them to the board. But I'll say this, we had a National Honor Society program in person on Friday night. None of our parents have come anywhere near us without a mask. So I don't know if these statements are going to confuse everyone, but we're going to hold, that is our position, and we will reevaluate this at the end of the first marking period, but we will open with mask, and that is what we're communicating to not only what it is that we do, but in our plan that we will present to you. And certainly it's on our website. We don't see a huge change in this. And until there's something that permeates our environment, and that can only be a large percentage of vaccinations, but it would also, remember, our environment is children. Our environment is children, and those children are dependent upon us. And so therefore, I asked your support for our position, which is to remain masked throughout the school day. That
Thank you.
concludes my report, but
Okay.
I'm certainly open to any questions, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. And I think that I speak for the board that continuing to remain masked shall be our policy until it's indicated otherwise. And I think that that is the correct position for us at this time. Are there any comments or questions from members of the board? Dr. Hall, I want to tell you that your background is captivating.
Thank you. These are some plates that I found in Dubai.
Okay, I don't know if the other members of the board can see it, but again, it's Prince from Dubai.
Yeah, thank you very
I-
much.
Thank you. With that, then I conclude that the board meeting is concluded. Thank you all for your attendance and participation. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Stay
sir.